I'm going to do something brave today, and I'm going to make a statement. Writing is not that hard. This is the working title of my current book in progress, and I'm actually going to share the opening parts of my introduction to this book, which is something that I often encourage people to practice and do. And so I want to honor that and do that myself today. So thank you in advance for coming on this brave journey with me. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Written Compass. How are you? How are you doing? What is going on in your world? What is going on with your writing? I always love to hear from you. And I just want to take a moment, if you haven't done so, if you're new to listening or you've been listening for a while and you have never left us a review of The Written Compass, I would absolutely love for you to do that. So head to wherever you are listening to this podcast and share your review. Any comment, any support like that is most appreciated. And as always, just super excited to continue to offer this content and just share my love of writing with you to hopefully support you in honoring your voice and sharing your words as you see fit. In today's episode, I'm going to do something a little scary and a little brave, at least for me. And it's something that I preach about all the time, which is sharing your words. And particularly when you're in the process of writing your book, I highly encourage people and our clients in our embodied writing programs who are publishing their books left and right is to get their words out there and share them, because ultimately that is our goal. We want to be seen, or we would not be writing in these amazing ways and writing our books. And so today I am going to share from my book in progress, and the working title right now is connected to the title of this episode, which is Writing is Not That Hard. And the subtitle, working subtitle, is Ending the Self-Judgment and Recognizing the Writer Within. And if anyone has published a book before, y'all know how titles go. That might stick, that might shift. I don't know, but that's what we're going with right now. So I am actually just going to dive right in. I'm going to be reading from the introduction. And this is a newer introduction. I was starting the book in one particular direction, and then I shifted because I just was getting bombarded with these ideas and messages around writing is so hard. Writing is so hard. I'm not good at writing because it's so hard. We have to bleed on the page, et cetera, et cetera. And that really got me inspired. And so I'm going to dive right in. Thank you in advance for listening to these words. And I'll come back at the end and just offer some reflection on what that was like. And as always, I would love to hear your feedback. All right, here we go. Quote, "My people spent most of their lives speaking poetry without realizing it," end quote. This is from a poet, an Irish poet, Martin O'Darian. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. I visited Ireland recently in the summer of 2023, and it was a solo trip, my first, and I saw this quote in the Galway City Museum. The quote was the first line on a wall display articulating the magic of the people of the Aran Islands, a series of 3 islands that are part of the wild Atlantic on the west coast of Ireland. The quote stopped me, and I got teary. I thought, this is how I feel about everyone. We are languaged beings. We are messaged beings. When we embody and honor our inner voice, just being ourselves and express that, we are living, speaking, and writing poetry without realizing it. Yet most of the time when people sit down to write, they do not feel poetic or even human. Writing is one of the most human acts we can do, but for centuries, the idea of writing or the life of a writer has been depicted as this tortured soul digging into their deep insides to dig up something profound. This process is depicted as painful and torturous. Jean Fowler, author and journalist, says, "Writing is easy. All you have to do is sit down at a typewriter and wait for drops of blood to form on your forehead," end quote. Writing is not that hard. Despite Jean Fowler's and many other common quotes and tropes about the difficulties of writing, I'm here to tell you writing is not difficult because you were actually designed to use your words in powerful ways like writing. I wrote this book to help you understand why and to get you out of your head and into your words. So let's get into it, shall we? There is no right way to write, so stop trying. We are taught writing from a sense of one right way, or that writing is good and writing is bad. Writing is being used as an act of oppression. There, I said it. I'm writing this book because I want to speak directly to your heart. I want to take a risk when it comes to writing and how I approach writing. And I think you do too. I also think there is this voice inside your head saying that you need to know some things before you actually begin writing. I imagine that list varies from person to person, but I'm guessing it starts with, but I need to fill in the blank, and then goes on to list a multitude of what I will lovingly call lies you have been told are what you need to start writing your book. Things like outlines, chapter titles, a concrete order of ideas, and stories that all need to be worked through and figured out first, right? And then you can write the actual words, the actual book. This is what may be called performative writing, meaning there are lots of shoulds that need to be met before and or as you write. It's no wonder that as adults, many often freeze and get stuck when they have to write. If in our history we have learned that writing is a performative act, then when we go into writing as an adult and feel like we are missing something, here you sit, wanting to share your voice, your book, and yet you're not sure quite where to begin. Ooh, thank you. I'm just going to be completely honest and say that was weird and interesting and powerful all at the same time. So some things that happen and why it's so powerful to share your words, especially reading them out loud. You don't know this, but I was changing some things even as I was reading them. So saying your words out loud, reading them to someone or having someone read them back to you allows you to go, ooh, I'd rather say it this way. And I definitely could feel my little inner gremlin saying, that does not make any sense at all. And so I was able to leave myself a note and go, go back, reread this, mess with this, play with this a little bit. I probably misread some things a couple of times. And that's always interesting to me as an embodied writing coach, because sometimes we say the words that aren't there that we actually want to be there in the writing. Does that make sense? I'll say it again. We oftentimes, when we're reading out loud, we'll insert words. It's just a fun thing that our little brain does that we actually want to say or might want to say. So it's a nice way to hear yourself speak your book and see what, if any, differences there are. This is also what's fun about having someone have your words in front of them as you read, because they can go, ooh, you said this, but the words actually, what you wrote was this. And so there can just be some nice back and forth. Thank you for letting me share that today. I'm curious what shows up as you hear it. I'm curious what you're thinking just about the idea of writing not being that hard and the mysteriousness, the tortured soul ideas that I present in here. So this is my working introduction. It wasn't all of it. It was just an opening part to it. And I am opening myself up to feedback. So I appreciate any ideas you want to share in advance. You can hit me up on Instagram at @ShaynaHartman_. And I look forward to talking with you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Written Compass. If you are enjoying this content, do me a favor and go and review the podcast. This allows me to share and get these messages out to the people who really need them, who we want to read their books in the future. You can also go and share your thoughts and tag me at @ShaynaHartman_ on Instagram. Again, this is just a way for us to get connected and share the writing love. And if you know that you are ready to write your book, that message that's been burning inside of you for a long time, then I want to talk to you. My team and I want to talk to you. Head on over to ShaynaHartman.com and click Work with Us. From there, you'll see an application to explore and see if writing your book is your next best step.